We just don't live in a perfect world. For example, of the millions of devices that exist, not every device you run into in a Control4 project will have a driver ready and available to you in the Composer driver database. But don't worry, there's a solution. From treasured antiquities like VCR, DVD combos, to even the latest and greatest televisions, there will be times you will need to create an IR driver of your own when one does not exist in the Control4 database. The Driver Wizard can help you create drivers for both IR and one-way serial devices. Driver templates exist for all kinds of drivers, from CD players to television, VCR, and DVD combos. A very common IR driver created using the Driver Wizard is for a television. Let's create one together. The steps to creating an IR driver are easy. Step 1. Open the Driver Wizard in Composer Pro. Step 2. Supply driver information and capture IR codes. Step 3. Access the driver in the Search tab. Step 1. Open the Driver Wizard in Composer Pro. First, open Composer and in the Composer Pro menu, click Driver. Then, Create New Driver. Select Television, then click OK. Step 2. Supply driver information and capture IR codes. Type the manufacturer and model of the TV, and in the Driver Creator text box, type your name. Click Next. The template makes creating the driver easy. First, tell the wizard how the device will be controlled. Select IR and click Next. Since this is an IR driver, looking at the television's remote will help you know what commands are possible. First, enter any volume properties for the TV, then TV properties, and then click Next. Select how power management is handled for the device, then click Next. Again, using the remote as your reference, select the commands found on the remote that will be used often. Deselect any commands that are not found on the remote. If a command exists on the remote but is not in the list, you may enter it in the Custom Commands field. Click Next. From the IR device list, select which controller to use to capture the IR codes from the device remote. Any controller will work. Position yourself with the device remote a short distance from the front of the controller. Then follow the steps to capture and verify each IR code. You can test that the code was captured correctly by clicking Emit. If you need to build an IR driver but do not have the remote, or if a particular code isn't working, you can try looking up the manufacturer's IR code. Often you can copy the hexadecimal codes from a website and enter them into the Driver Wizard by clicking Edit. The next step is to enter what input and output connections exist for the device. Getting this step right is crucial. This is what you will see in the Connections tab of Composer and what makes control possible. Click Add, name the connection, designate if the connection is input or output, and then designate the connection type. Click OK. After entering all of the needed connections, click Next. Now, define the correct connection type for each connection. You can also place different IR commands together to form a macro, a series of IR commands that will be issued together. For example, you might need a macro when turning off a projector when 2 or 3 commands are needed to complete the task. You have now finished creating your driver. Click Next. Step 3. Access the driver in the Search tab. The driver you just created will be saved in your local driver database. This driver will not be searchable for anyone but you. You may, however, share the driver file with whomever you like. You can now search for the driver by its name from the local driver database. It's not a perfect world, but the Driver Wizard can make it just a little bit easier to live in.